Hello everyone and welcome to the biology lecture series, and today we'll be discussing the topic reproductive health. So this lecture is a continuation of the previous lecture. So previously what we were discussing, I have introduced you to the term reproductive health. We discussed about what is the definition of reproductive health, how can we define reproductive health in simple words. Then we also discussed about the various contraceptive methods. Okay, so let's do a little bit of revision and then we'll start with the lecture. So how can we define the reproductive health? Or what is reproductive health? What aspects does reproductive health include? So reproductive health in simple, what is the simple definition? So a reproductive healthy individual will have normal, the reproductive healthy individual will have normal reproductive organs which functional normally. That function normally. But you can also write the individuals which have healthy reproductive organ or system. You can say organ or you can also write system. Okay, and these reproductive organs, they function normally. Here you can write instead of normal also healthy. Healthy reproductive system or reproductive organ that functions normally. Means if we are talking about the males, they are producing viable sperms. And females, they are producing viable female gamete, which is the ovum or the egg. Alright. So this is the simple definition of the reproductive health. What is the complete definition of reproductive health? So we can say it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. In all matters related to reproductive system. Clear? So this is reproductive health. Then we also studied about the various contraceptive methods. So these contraceptive methods, these help in preventing the pregnancy. Clear? And these contraceptives, they should be user friendly, they should be easily available, easily accessible, and they should be effective. And what were the various contraceptive methods? So there were some natural methods and there are artificial methods. Okay. So we also discussed about the contraceptive methods. So these contraceptive methods, they are divided into two categories. One is the natural and others are the artificial. In the natural methods, we discussed that the female can track the menstrual cycle. We also talked about coitus interruptus, where the male can remove the penis from the vagina just before the ejaculation. And then artificial contraceptive methods were use of the condoms, IUDs, injections and implants, oral pills that contain the hormones. These were the artificial methods of controlling the, you can say, birth rate, controlling the population explosion, family planning. These contraceptive methods are also used in the family planning. Okay, and they can prevent the unwanted pregnancy also. Okay, and they can also help in family planning, where the couples, they want to keep a gap between the babies. That is very important for the maintaining the health of the child as well as for maintaining the health of the mother. Okay, this is clear. Now let's start with the lecture. So in this lecture, what we will be studying? We'll be studying about the medical termination of the pregnancy, which is also known as abortion. So how can we define the medical termination of the pregnancy? So intentional or voluntary termination of the pregnancy. Voluntary means with our own will. Okay, voluntary. We have talked about voluntary movements also in the body. So these are under our control. So with our will, okay, we are terminating the pregnancy. So intentional or voluntary termination of the pregnancy before full term. Okay, before full term means gestation period is 9 months. Pregnancy is for the 9 months. If we talk about the human female, so termination of the pregnancy before the full term is called medical termination of the pregnancy, also known as MTP or induced abortion. Clear? Now, nearly 45 to 50 million MTPs are performed in a year. So you can see the number is very high. 45 to 15 million MTPs. These are performed in a year all over the world, which accounts for 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancy in a year. So this number is 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancy. Now, whether to accept or legalize MTP or not is being debated upon in many countries due to emotional, ethical, religious, and social issues involved in it. Okay, this is clear. So whether to accept or legalize this MTP. Okay, should we accept the abortion? Should we legalize the abortion? So this is still debatable in many countries. Why? Because it had a lot of emotional issues. Because the mother and baby they are attached. Mothers are especially attached to the fetus. Okay, so there is emotional aspects also. Then there is ethical also. Whether it is ethically correct to abort the, or you can say kill the developing fetus. Is it ethically correct or not? There is a lot of religious issues also here. Okay, there is a lot of social issues also. Whether the society will accept or not this abortion or MTP, medical termination of pregnancy. Clear? So it is debatable still whether to legalize abortion or not. Now, Government of India legalized MTP in 1971 with some strict conditions to avoid its misuse. So Government of India, it has legalized the abortion in 1971. So you have to remember it. Abortion has been legalized, MTP has been legalized in 1971, but there were some rules, there were some strict conditions that were implemented to avoid the misuse of MTP. Because what people do, what couples do, they go for the sex determination. We have discussed about amniocentesis in the previous lecture. Okay, now you can define amniocentesis. What was happening there? So amniotic fluid, it is analyzed. So what happened in amniocentesis? The amniotic fluid, this is analyzed. Okay, for what? It is analyzed for either determining the sex of the fetus, or you can say it for determining the sex of the unborn. It is analyzed for determining the sex of the developing fetus, you can say, or you can say unborn. And it is also used for what is also used for detecting any genetic disorder. All right. Such as, what are these genetic disorders? We've already discussed about this. Some of the genetic disorders are like Down syndrome. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder. What happens in Down syndrome? There is a trisomy of the 21st chromosome. So usually there are two 21st chromosomes, where in Down syndrome there are three 21st chromosomes. Okay. Now another one is hemophilia. In hemophilia, what happens? Hemophilia is a blood clot disorder. Here the blood doesn't clot. And what happens in hemophilia? There is a lack of the blood clotting factors. So there is a lack of blood clotting factors. So blood is not able to clot properly. Then another one is the sickle cell anemia. What happens in sickle cell anemia? Abnormal hemoglobin is produced. And this abnormal hemoglobin causes sickle cell shape of the RBCs. This is clear? So what happens? Through amniocentesis, the sex of the unborn is determined, and the couples, they are misusing it. Okay. So what they, if they find that the fetus or the child, it is female, so they go for the female feticides. They abort the baby. So this is against the rule of the nature. This is against the rules of the human rights, and it disturbs the natural balance. Okay, so this should be banned. Amniocentesis should be banned. Clear? Or it should be checked that the sex determination should not be done. Okay, and the couples, they should not go for the female feticides. It can be used for determining the genetic disorders, but for sex determination, it should be not be followed. Okay, this is clear. Now, such restrictions are all the more important to check indiscriminate and illegal female feticides, which are reported to be high in India. Okay, so cases of female feticide is very high in India. Clear? So these restrictions are there, these conditions. Why they are implemented? Because this MTP is being misused. It is used to kill the female child. Clear? So restrictions are all the more important to check to indiscriminate and illegal to check indiscriminate and illegal female feticide, which is reported to be very high in India. Now, why should we go for MTP then? It is being misused. So why should we go for the medical termination of pregnancy? Why should we go for these absorptions? So there are some advantages also. Okay. Now, obviously, the answer is to get rid of unwanted pregnancies, either due to unprotected intercourse or failure of the contraceptive used during coitus, or due to sexual abuse such as rapes. Okay, so a lot of couples, especially in the adolescence age, they go for this unprotected intercourse. Clear? So this can lead to unwanted pregnancies. Okay, so to avoid these unwanted pregnancies, MTP can be used. Okay, because sometimes the adults also they go for unprotected intercourse, and the female conceive, okay, or she gets pregnant. So if the individuals, they want to get rid of the baby, okay, or if the mother health is not supporting, mother is not healthy enough to carry the baby, then also abortion can be allowed. So, to prevent the unwanted pregnancy due to unprotected intercourse or due to the failure of the contraceptive used. So, usually the efficiency of this contraceptive methods is very high. All these condoms, IUDs, these pills, although the efficiency of these contraceptive pills are very high, still sometimes what happens, there is a failure of these contraceptive devices and these lead to unwanted pregnancy. Then also the couple can go for the MTP. Now, in case of sexual abuse such as rapes, again, to get rid of the unwanted pregnancies, MTP can be allowed. Clear? Now, MTPs are also essential in certain cases where continuation of pregnancy could be harmful or even fatal either to the mother or to the fetus or both. So sometimes the mother of the body of the mother is not healthy. It cannot bear the child. Okay, and this can be dangerous. It can be harmful to the mother as well as to the fetus also. Clear? So in that cases also, the pregnancy can be terminated using medical termination of the pregnancy. So these couples can also go for the abortion. Clear? Now, MTPs are considered relatively safe during the first trimester, that is up to 12 weeks of pregnancy, and second trimester abortions are much more riskier. So what does this mean? So during the early stages of the pregnancy, okay, such as during the first trimester, if the couples they go for abortion or MTP during the first trimester, then it is relatively safe. Then going for abortion in the later stages, like during the second trimester. The first trimester, it is for 12 weeks. Second trimester will be for 24 weeks. So what happens if abortion is done in the first trimester? So abortion during the first trimester is relatively safe than going for adoption in the second trimester or third trimester or later during the pregnancy. Why? Because during the first trimester, so first trimester is for 12 weeks. Here, it is less riskier. Okay. So risk is less. Why risk is less? Because here the abortion is performed using simple procedures. Here the abortion is performed, okay, using simple procedures. Such as medication, using medicines, and what else? Using vacuum aspirants. Using vacuum aspiration also, abortion can be done. But if the abortion is being done in the second trimester, or you can say from 12 weeks to 24 weeks, here what happens? The risk is higher. Here the risk is higher. Why the risk is higher? Because here the abortion is performed using complex procedures. Using complex procedures Okay, clear? And the gestation period also increases here. You can write this also. Here the gestation period increases. Obviously, gestation in human females, it is for 9 months. So as the gestation period increases, then what happens? The size of the fetus will also increase. Okay, the fetus is more developed also now. The gestation period, obviously, it is increasing. Early it was 12 weeks. Now it is around 24 weeks after the end of second trimester. So as the gestation period increases, the risk of abortion also increases. Okay, risk involving abortion also increases. So what happens during the abortion? Abortion can be dangerous to the mothers also. Okay, these abortions can be dangerous to mothers also. Why they are dangerous to mothers? Because they can cause infections. They can cause infections, and it can also cause excessive bleeding also in the mother. And this can be quite fatal because excessive bleeding can lead to the death of the mother. Then third one, it can cause damage to the reproductive organ. It can cause damage to the reproductive organ. Okay, this is clear. Now, one disturbing trend observed is that a majority of the MTPs are performed illegally by unqualified quacks, which are not only unsafe but could be fatal too. So, a lot of these abortions, they are illegal as abortions. Not all are legal. They are only allowed. These abortions are only allowed certain under certain conditions that we have already discussed. Okay. Now, most of them are illegal abortions. So these illegal abortions, these are performed by unqualified people. Okay, usually these abortions, they are performed under the guidance of this qualified professional people such as gynecologists and all. But here, the illegal abortions, they are performed by unqualified people or the person, and this can be obviously fatal to the mother also because it is quite unsafe. It can cause excessive bleeding also because these people, they are not trained for safe abortion. Clear? Now, another dangerous trend is the misuse of the amniocentesis to determine the sex of the unborn child. So this we have already discussed about amniocentesis. So amniocentesis, this is okay known as the prenatal test. It is the prenatal test, and it disturbs the natural balance. Clear? So it is known as the we can again write it here, amniocentesis. So it is a prenatal test. Okay, and sex determination through amniocentesis, it is against the human rights because the couples, they go for the female feticides. Clear? So we can also write the sex determination which is done during the amniocentesis, it is against the human right and it disturbs the natural balance. So in a population, the balance of the males and females should be maintained. So naturally it is maintained, but through through this female feticides, what is happening? The natural balance is being disturbed. Okay, so you can write it is against the human rights it is disturbing the natural balance of males and females in a population. Okay, this is clear. Now, let's move on. Frequently, if the fetus is found to be female, it is followed by MTP, and this is totally against what is legal. Okay, so this is illegal, this is against the human rights, and it is disturbing the natural balance. Now, such practices should be avoided because they are dangerous both for the young mother as well as the fetus. So these abortions, these should be avoided because this can be dangerous. These are performed by the unprofessional people. So this can be dangerous for both the young mother also and for the fetus also. Now, effective counseling on the need to avoid unprotected coitus and risk factors involved in the illegal abortions, as well as providing more healthcare facilities, could reverse the mentioned unhealthy trend. So effective counseling should be done. Counseling of the couples should be done. The sex education should be given in the schools also. In the school, teachers, parents, relatives, friends, they should spread the awareness. They should spread the information regarding the sex-related issues, reproduction-related issues. And the information should also be spread. Okay? So as to how to avoid this unprotected coitus. So information should be given regarding the use of the contraceptives. So information should be given regarding various contraceptive methods. And these contraceptives should be easily available in the market also. Clear? And the risk factors involved in the illegal absorptions. So awareness and counseling should also be done of the couples, of the people in the society. Okay? Especially to the peoples that are in the marriageable age. So information should be given and they should be told what are the risk factors involved in the illegal absorption. So we have already discussed this abortion can be dangerous to the mother also. So it can cause infections also. It can cause damage to the reproductive organ also. And due to excessive bleeding, it can also lead to the death of the mother. And better healthcare facilities should be provided. Okay, better healthcare facilities. So professional people should be employed. And better clinic, better hospital, better infrastructure should be developed. Okay, so as to carry out safe abortions. Clear? So this was the end of this session. What we have discussed in this session. So we were discussing about the medical termination of the pregnancy, also known as abortion. Okay, so what we have discussed. So this, you say MTP, this is legalized. Okay, it is legalized in India also in 1971. But some restrictions has been implemented. So these restrictions are very important to prevent the misuse of this abortion, to prevent the misuse of the MTP. Because a lot of the couples, they go for the female feticide, they kill the female child. Okay, and this is disturbing the natural balance. This is also against the human rights. Okay, and amniocentesis also, they should be also banned. Although it has some of benefits also because it is used to determine the genetic disorders. Okay, and appropriate treatment can be done if we know what genetic disorders is there in the fetus. But it is being misused because the sex determination of the unborn is being done, and if the fetus it is female, then the couples, they go for the female feticide, they kill the fetus. Clear? So although MTP is legalized, it has a lot of benefits also. It can avoid the unwanted pregnancy. Okay, that can be due to unprotected sex. Okay, it can avoid the unwanted pregnancy due to sexual abuse such as rape, and can also prevent the unwanted pregnancy due to sometimes failure of the contraceptive devices. Clear? So we'll talk about rest of the topics in the next lecture. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you very much for listening.